my name is Mara Dave, and I'm a client with the Freeman Project, and I'm also a survivor of human trafficking.
Happy afternoon, everyone. I'm Harold D'Souza. I'm a survivor of labor trafficking and debt bondage, and I'm a happy father, a loving husband, a good son. And I just want to thank each one of you sitting here and State Representative Teresa, because all survivors sitting here is a pure reflection of all the good work you all do, and especially the three things you always say for being very humble, honest, and human in educating, empowering, and employing us. Thank you very much. Hello.
Okay, hello. Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Felicia Snell, and I am a survivor from human trafficking. And I have to say this. I have 2 years, 8 months, and 1 day clean. This is the day that God breathed. This is the day that God decided to give me another chance, and I'm running it with all my life. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel Kasich, and I'm here with the Renee Jones Empowerment Center.
Hi, my name is Annette Mango, and I am a survivor, and I'm also here with the Renee Jones Empowerment Center.
Hi, family. My name is Latice Champelli. A lot of you people may know me from treatment and stuff. I'm also a survivor of human trafficking, drug and alcohol use, and just a proud mom. Just a proud mom. I'm here with Barbara Freeman. Yes.
Hi, my name is April Thacker, and I am also a survivor of human trafficking, and I'm also the case manager of Freedom a la carte.
Let's give them a round of applause. The courage, steadfastness, and faith and hope, and we love you. We're glad that you're here. I'd like to read the poem by Gina Burris, Call of the Street. Listen to the whisper before you hear the scream. Don't let him lure you back on his team. For those who don't understand, it's called the call of the street. He shouts so loud he tricks us, thinking of reclaiming our seat. Don't let his voice say you, and don't give into his lies. The sleeping monster within us leaves no room for compromise. We must not hold onto the past, nor gasp for tomorrow. Free your hands today, let go of your sorrow. Street never sleeps, only seems to be napping. So my sister and brother, don't quit before the miracle can happen. And Eugenia is a success story, and she's involved like many of the survivors who are on the road of great, great futures. And they're helping in the cause. They've got their degrees, they're going to school, they got their PhDs, they're writing books, they're teaching us. So I thank you for being up here to teach us. We love you. We want you to share your soul, your heart, and give us some good advice. So with that, would anybody like to start on the reaction of Gina's poem?
Hi, my name is Latice, a blessed recovering alcoholic and addict. I share a little bit about myself. I have 6 children. I lost one. He was a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old. His name was Kanye Champelli. He died from fentanyl. I don't know if some of you people may have seen it on the news in July. He was at a babysitter's, and she left him unattended. And she told the detectives that he snorted it. And as a result, Jesus help me. baby not here no more. I fought hard and long. I did it willingly. The courts didn't ask me to do anything. I did urines. Came to every annual review with FCCS, anger management, parenting classes. I got the certificates, everything. I filed a motions to have visitations with my son. I never got to see him. He never got to see me. I never got to answer those questions. Why, Mom, you wasn't there, or why you gave up on me, or none of that. He was presented to me brain dead at Children's Hospital. And I buried my son. The very next day I went to work. I work with AmeriCorps through CPO management. I read books to children 0 to 5 years old. And I love what I do. I've been there a year and a half, and I love it. I love every minute of it. My past is horrific. I've been shot at. I've been mauled by pit bulls. I've been raped. I've been human trafficked. I've been sold. I've been held hostage. I've jumped out of moving vehicles. I've done a lot in my past. And it brings me to today. Barbara asked me, and I didn't think I would be sitting in front of all you guys. And it's an honor to be able to sit in front of all you guys. I'm just so overwhelmed right now. I walked into a room in this building, and I broke down crying because I was amazed. I've never seen nothing like this before in my life. There was a chandelier hanging from the ceiling. I know I'm a crybaby. Everybody, April knows. It was beautiful. It was breathtaking. I couldn't stop crying. I was like, wow, I've always seen this stuff on TV. Never in my wildest dreams.
The State House is your house, and you're welcome. Every square inch is yours and ours. And we're going to make change happen quick. So we're here. We love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
I hope you felt the love today.
Yes,
Because it's
all
in
over.
this room.
I even lost my phone. I still felt the love.
I know. Do you never? Have you found that phone yet?
I found it.
Barb,
my journey through recovery and being a single mom, I have a 2-year-old son. His name is Noah Sadakarhi Shampeli, and that is my star. He wakes me up in the morning. Mom, please wake up. He kisses me all over my face. We play like the action figure thing. I spin around in a circle and I go, hi, Yuka. And he falls back on the bed and laughs. We do it every single night. 3.5 years ago, I never thought that I would have a place where I can turn the key and open up the door to my home. And it's beautiful. I have TVs in every room, beds in every room. It's beautiful, all thanks to Barbara and Miss Sarah. They paid my rent and deposit. They got me started on the right track. I don't let my past define who I am today. I am beautifully and wonderfully made in God's image, and I know that today. I didn't know that back then. I love me. I love me. They even gave me a car on the grounds that I would pay my fine and restitution, get insurance, get my license, and I got all that, and I got presented. It's my little bucket, but it's my car.
So first of all, as a survivor, I just want to say how honored I am to be on a stage with a bunch of survivors. I know that the road to recovery sometimes can be hard and we can face many challenges. But just that you're sitting here today and you keep pushing on through those challenges, as I'm just happy to be here and to be a part of it. So if you could tell us where, when and where you were born, and a little bit about that.
I don't know why you do that to me. I was born in Alabama, and my mother brought me up here when she was 17 years old, and I was in children's services all my life. And the answer to your question, my past, I no longer let the past hold me hostage anymore. My hostage used to make every move. Used to make me make every move in my life, but I had to do some step work and ask God, first of all, to release me from my past. My past, I don't regret it, and it doesn't define who I am today. There's still some trauma in my life, and there's a lot of things that happened before I got introduced to drugs and the lifestyle. But I go to counseling, and I go to church, first of all, and I pray, and I keep my faith in God, because I don't believe that God had brought me this far for me to fall. And sometimes my fall is not a fall, it's a lesson. And that's why I'm very grateful to be here today and to, for God using Barbara Freeman, a tool, to come in them woods to get me. And that's the day that I say, God, put lungs in my breath, because I want to die. And I no longer want to die today. I want to live. I want to go out there. I'm like a little turtle who sticks her heads out. But I just have to give thanks to God, first of all, my mother and my father, my church, and I have to give my thanks to Barbara Freeman, because if it wasn't for Barbara Freeman, I wouldn't be here. So with that, I pass.
Felicia, could you actually tell us what you remember about your childhood and if you have any brothers and sisters?
I don't know what my mother looks like. All I know is it's a yellow woman. If she was in my face today, I wouldn't know who she was. I have not seen my mother since I was 5, and that was the first time that I was trafficked and raped at 5 years old. My father, what I was told from my caseworker is that my mother was raped, and that's how I was conceived. So, other than that, I have nothing, but I do have y'all. So,
Do you have a best friend today?
me, myself, and I.
I'm sorry.
So, Felicia, thank you for sharing with us that at 5 years old is when you were trafficked. Can you tell us when maybe you started drinking or using drugs?
I started drinking rubbing alcohol at 9 years old because I wanted to get out of myself. I was being raped every night.
So when did things start getting out of control for you?
At 16, I was still in children's services, and I got reintroduced to alcohol again. Then it went from smoking marijuana. It's the cool thing to do at that age, they say. And then I was smoking marijuana, and it was laced with cocaine. And it was sweet, and I liked it, and it took me out of myself. And that's when I went downhill from there.
When did you first realize that you didn't want to be where you were in that life?
At the age of 10.
At the age of 10?
I didn't want to, yeah.
When did you first consider yourself a victim?
At 14 years old, my adopted mother had took me over the borderline. She kidnapped me from Columbus, Ohio, took me to Tennessee, and sold me. And that's when I said, I don't want to be here anymore.
Were you ever scared of someone or to get into a car?
Absolutely. Everyone. He might have been my sugar daddy. I was scared of everybody. I was scared of my own shadow. Because I didn't know if I was going to get out the car alive.
When did things change for you? Was it due to being arrested, or was it something other that was that defining moment?
The day I seen Barbara Freeman on TV, and she's the Woman of the Year, I said, oh my God. I said, I can do it too. And then 2 weeks later, she was riding down the street. She gave me her car. 2 weeks later, Barbara, I'm tired. Help me.
So with Barb's help, what services did you utilize to get your life back, and what services do you think are most necessary for victims of
Recovering. The sense of feeling safe. She took me into an ambulatory at Maryhaven, told me just to rest. Just rest. From ambulatory, then she told me, I remember this so clear, we're going to do ambulatory, we're going to do Maryhaven, we're going to do amethyst, we're going to do all this. I said, no, we're not. But I did it because it saved my life. I went from ambulatory to Maryhaven 30 days, detox. Then I went to the women's program for 6 months. I'm not ready. I went to amethyst.
Did you ever try to get clean before on your own?
Yes.
So you think that having treatment and facilities and support people is a necessary?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think that it's more dangerous for girls today than when you were introduced to that life?
Yes, it's more dangerous. I see it every day where I live. I see 10-year-olds allowing little boys to call them out their name. I see little girls allowing little boys to hit them, and they say it's a plaything, but that's how it gets started. Once you accept that first slap, then it's okay. It's very dangerous right now, and it breaks my heart because they think it's a play game, and it's not.
So you think one of the most dangerous things is the way that we communicate with each other and accept things?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young girl today?
You have a right to say no. And don't feel bad to say no. And you ain't got to explain no. It's just no.
And is that the same advice that you would give to your younger self?
Yes.
And you have already pretty much answered this last question. It says, who helped you the most on your journey to recovery? And we all know that that was Barb Freeman.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Felicia. We appreciate you sharing your story with us. So, Rachel, where and when were you born?
I was born in Barberton, Ohio.
Okay. And what do you remember most about your childhood?
I got molested when I was 12 years old.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
I have an older brother and a sister who's middle-aged.
Okay. Do you have a best friend? She's sitting beside you?
Yeah.
Hi, best friend. Okay. When did you start drinking or using drugs?
When I was 21, I was forced to use crack.
So someone gave it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, that was the next question. When did things get out of control for you?
When I was 16, when I was taken.
When you were taken? When did you first realize that you were a victim?
To be honest with you, when I went to Renee Jones, I was like, I want to be a volunteer. And she told me, well, you're a victim. And I was like, I'm here to volunteer.
So when did you first realize that you didn't want to be where you were in that life?
When I got pregnant with my twins, before that, when I was on probation,
Okay.
I was tired.
You were tired.
Yeah.
Were you tired a long time before you finally, got seeked help and got help for that?
I think so. I told my probation officer, she would ask me, when was the last time you got high? And I said, 20 minutes ago, locked me up. I just hated my life. I wanted her to put me in the penitentiary because I didn't know how to get off crack.
I can understand that. Were you ever scared of somebody or getting into their car?
Yes,
Yes,
all the time.
all the time. When did things start to change for you? Was it due to arrest or something other?
When things started getting better or worse?
Better.
When I quit cold turkey when I found out I was pregnant with twins.
That was very brave of you.
Yeah.
What services did you utilize to get your life back? And what do you think is services are the most important for survivors?
I went through, when I quit cold turkey, I locked myself down in the basement. I would only come out to eat. My mom paid my rent, and it was a boarding room. And I went through Community Health Center in Akron, Ohio. And all that time, I knew something else was wrong with me, but I wasn't blinging on the human trafficking part because I didn't know nothing about that. I was getting clean, and it was years later after I went to Renee Jones. And then I really think that it's important that you have support, that you get your trauma counseling, and that you just have somebody there who truly loves you. And that there's just a support there, and that can show you that there's other things out there besides, I don't know how to put it, but she takes us on these retreats, and they're awesome.
She loves Anya.
Yeah, like we have spa days where we get massages, and instead of bad touch, we're taught that
Good touch.
good touch. And we have horse therapy and
So
all that.
you shared with us that you went cold turkey and you locked yourself in a basement, and you talk of support. Did you have support at that time?
No.
So now
I
you-
locked myself down there for 2 weeks because I wanted to make sure that I was going to kick that habit. After them 2 weeks, I went to Community Health Center. But all they gave me was like drug counseling, and that was it.
So do you think that it's more dangerous for young ladies today than before?
That's a hard thing because I came back from back in the day.
Hey, well,
Back in
a lot of
the
things have
day.
changed since back in the day.
I'd say it was about, I don't know. I'd say that it doesn't matter. Everything's dangerous from back in the
every
day
era.
till now.
Yeah.
It just,
I agree with that. What advice would you give to a young girl?
I would tell her, I want to piggyback off what she said, that she can say no. And just to have support of good friends, that they don't have to be all popular with the guys and thinking that they have to buy them stuff, and, you know, have a good connection with their dad. And it does come from the dad and the mom. You should have a good relationship with them.
And if you could give your younger self some advice, what would that be?
My dad gave me attention. I just wanted all of his attention. And if I would have just really looked, I would have seen it. I don't know. It's not been that selfish, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
So who is the one person that has helped you the most on your journey to recovery?
Renee Jones,
Renee Jones. Thank you so
Empowerment
much.
Center.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. So I can't see your name tag, I'm sorry. Annette. Okay, Annette. So Annette, when and where were you born?
In Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio? How'd you get to Columbus?
Oh, with Renee Jones.
Renee Jones?
Yeah.
Okay. So you came here in your recovery?
Yes.
Wonderful. Here to spread experience, strength, and hope?
Yes, all the above.
All right. What do you remember most about your childhood?
I was bad. I was a tomboy.
You're bad.
And I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it.
Okay. Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a sister and a brother, and 10 years later, I had another sister.
It's a big gap. Do you have a best friend?
Yes, Rachel.
I just asked this. I'm having deja vu. So when did you start drinking or using drugs?
Well, the drinking part, I know for sure, probably 12, 13. It was a family tradition.
Family tradition.
Family tradition. Drugs, I have no idea when it came to the drugs fit in.
Progression of the disease?
Progression of the disease.
Okay. When did things get out of control for you?
When I lost my job and had no more money, milked everybody I could, I believe, I don't know actually when I went over, but that's when I noticed it.
Okay. Were you ever scared of somebody or of getting into a car?
The first time after the high went down, I had to be high to jump in a car or do anything. And then after that, it was anything goes.
Okay. So when did you first realize that you didn't want to be where you were in that life?
Oh, many times after I go to jail, 50 million times, because once I go to jail, then I have a couple of days to sit up there and say, hey, I don't want to do this no more. But then when I get out of jail or even get out of a rehab, I had nowhere else to go. So therefore, I end up doing the cycle all over again.
Okay. When did you first consider yourself a victim?
3 years ago, maybe? Yeah.
3 years ago. When did things change for you? Was it arrest or was it something other that started changing things for you?
Well, it wasn't arrest. Arrest was normal for me.
Okay.
It was being sick and tired of being sick and tired. When I got sick and tired, I was 50. It's bad out there. Women of the streets start beating up women of the streets. So it was before they got me, I was sick and tired.
Okay. Do you think that it's more dangerous for young girls today than before?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because I know more now today than I knew back then.
Right.
That's the only reason why that I believe it's dangerous now, because I see things now. I didn't see what was going on. My eyes went open. I didn't know, I might knew people was getting killed and people was getting kidnapped and all that. Okay, that was life. That's how I looked at it. But now that my eyes are open, yes, today I believe.
So what advice would you give to a young girl?
Do not afraid to be yourself. Meaning, you don't have to be like nobody else. Meaning, you don't have to hang with the people that don't go to school. You don't have to be problem. If you have problems in school, because I know this one thing that happened to me, I couldn't see. I didn't want to wear glasses. I didn't want nobody to laugh at me. I wouldn't sit in front of the class. I didn't want to learn because I was embarrassed. I wanted to be with the popular girls. I wanted to be everybody. I wanted to just be everybody else except myself. Let's accept ourselves for who we are. That's the advice I would give them.
And what advice would you give your younger self?
Go to school.
That's good advice. Who has helped you the most on your journey to recovery?
First of all, the first one that really helped me was a probation officer her name is Ms. Karen Stratton. She the one that came to me when I was in jail and asked me if I wanted to join a human trafficking court. She was the first one to introduce me to that court. She told me it was 2 years. I joined that because it was different. I was only given help for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then I was back out. Then the next came from that court was Sister Cecilia, who offered me a T-shirt. Offered someone else a T-shirt, and I wanted a T-shirt. It was free. To get that T-shirt, I had to go to the Renee Jones Empowerment Center. I went and got that T-shirt, and I never left that group. And within that group, I met Miss Kenny, Miss Maureen Kenny. She's gonna kill me for not using the last name. But I met her, and she is just so powerful, and she started talking to me. I consider my personal lawyer, I really do. I know she's the center and everybody else in human trafficking, but she's just awesome. Miss Renee, what really got me about Miss Renee is that you usually go to someplace big, like someplace, and when I asked Tracy about Renee, she said, she's here. She's the one you're gonna see. And I said, the real Renee Jones? You know, you see her name on there, and I knew it was personal then. It's that personal effect that got me. I met Rachel, I met everybody, Silk. I met so many people, and to be as old as I am, I still feel like, I'm gonna say 20, 22, because I never had that age group. I was out on the streets. So I'm living my life over again and have good people, good support, people with me. So.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your bravery with us. Does anybody know what time it is? What time is it? 3:38. Okay. So hi, Latisse.
Hi, Ava. Hi. I'm gonna try not to cry this time, y'all. Just bear with me. I just be feeling it. God's grace, His mercy.
Me and Latisse were in treatment together, so actually we lived in the same building, so we kind of have some history together. So Latisse, can you tell us where you were born and if you have any siblings?
I was born in New York City. Flower Fifth Avenue Hospital is no longer there anymore. I was raised in, some of my childhood was in the South Bronx, so I'm from, y'all would call the ghetto. I have a sister, she's younger than me, a brother, he's younger than me, and I have another sister I've never met before in my life.
Latisse, when did you first start drinking and using drugs, and did somebody give that to you?
No, nobody gave it to me. I would see, my mom would take me to the park when I was a little girl, probably about 5 or 6 years old, and I would drink her, it was Wild Irish Rose. Was it Wild Irish Rose? No, it was Thunderbird, and she would put Kool-Aid in it, and I thought it was juice.
When did things start getting out of control for you, Latisse?
When my mom died. My mom died of AIDS, and I watched her progress, go through the different stages.
That must have been really hard for you. Sorry. When did you first realize that you didn't want to be where you were and that you were a victim?
Because I got tired of, I hated me back then. I didn't want to be Peaches. I didn't want to be me. I got tired of being called crackheads, being called bad names, kids throwing rocks at me, people throwing beer bottles with urine in it at me. Yeah.
Were you ever scared to get in a car or of somebody?
Yeah, I was scared to get in the car. The only way I would be able to get in someone's car was I had to be numb. I had to be high off the crack cocaine. I had to be high off of something in order for me to get in their car and perform those activities that I did.
Thank you for being so honest with us. When did things start to change for you?
Things started to change for me when I went to Maryhaven. I went to Maryhaven several times, but that last time, things started changing, and I stayed and I completed, and then I went from there straight into Amethyst. And that's when my life unfolded.
So, Latisse, what services would you say that you utilized the most that helped you, and what do you think is the most important for victims coming into this?
Services that I utilize right now, my job.
No, like when you got clean, like, so you said treatment. Do you think that was the most?
Yeah, treatment, meetings, having a sponsor, doing step work, Barbara, Miss Sarah.
And do you think that those would be the most important services for survivors coming into the program now?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's dangerous for young girls out there more today?
It's so scary out there. It's scary out there. When I was out there, there was a young lady. I thought she was my age. She was 14 years old. She didn't have any shoes on her feet. We were in this abandoned house doing drugs, and she was crying. Her dad had beat her. I couldn't even do my 1-2. I just started crying because I'm like, man, she's only 14 years old. If you young and you think you know everything, because I thought I was bad, I thought nobody could beat me, I could say what I want, cuss like a sailor. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything. I ran away all the time. I dropped out of school. Stay in school, because in a minute you're going to have a high school diploma just to get a job, just to apply for anything. Stay in school. Become all you can. Be who you are. Like you said, be you. If you want to wear 2 pigtails with tassels in them and a wreath around your neck, wear it. Whatever you want to do, do it, because you only have one life to live. And be who you are. Stand out. Be the best and be all you can be. Just don't give up on you. Don't accept bullying. I got bullied. As big as I am, I'm a big bear. I got bullied.
So that's really good advice for a young girl. Who helped you the most during your recovery journey?
You?
Thank
Because you stayed on me in Amethyst. You, Barbara, Miss Sarah stayed on me. She wouldn't take no for an answer. She came to pick me up one day and she said, Latisse, we're going to get your driver's license. And I said, I ain't going to pass it. And she said, I'm not hearing that. So she snatched up Noah and took him to the car. I got my clothes on and I came out. And she said, you get in the driver's seat. And I said, I don't know how to drive this. And she said, yeah, you do. I'm going to teach you. I said, this is a hybrid. I don't understand what's going on.
And look at you today. Thank you so much,
And
Latisse.
I got my driver's license and I got insurance.
Thank you, Latisse.
Hi,
Hi, so I can't see your name tag up from here.
Mara.
Maura. Hi, Maura.
Hi, April.
So where were you born, and what do you remember most about your childhood?
I was born here, Columbus, Ohio, born and raised on the west side, on the hilltop. What I remember most is I was so happy and comfortable in my skin. My mom had me involved in everything. I didn't even know we were struggling. I just had the best time, active in the community, honor roll student. I mean, it was just a very good, pleasant childhood.
So with that being said, when did you start drinking and using drugs?
I come from a family of alcoholics, and I remember just a couple incidences being younger, maybe taking a sip over at aunt's house or something. But it wasn't until I started getting insecure with myself in middle school is when I really started trying to fit in with the cool kids and start trying to drink Cisco and sneak and smoke little weed and
So someone gave you your first drink?
yeah, definitely. But it wasn't until actually college, which is sad to say, is when all hell broke loose. Drugs, alcohol, sex, everything.
So that kind of fits in with the next question is when did things get out of control? So you say when you went to college?
Yes, I had a son when I was 15 and graduated and went to college. I was there for 2 years. My first year, I was on top. My second year, I got introduced to human trafficking by someone who I cared about. I thought they were my friend. They actually told me we were going to a party in Cincinnati, and they left me there, and I'll spare you the details. So everything spiraled downhill from there.
So when did you realize that you didn't want to be where you were?
I was in oblivion to it because those type of situations traumatize people, traumatized me, it stripped me of my soul. Then drugs and alcohol, I was literally walking around as a zombie for the next 13 to 14 years. So it wasn't until I went to Amethyst, actually. I remember you. I was there in 2012, and it gave me just the courage and confidence to see that I could get out of something that I'd become so accustomed to doing, abusing myself and letting everyone else abuse me.
So when did you realize that you were a victim?
I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor.
Nicely said. Let's see here. So when did things start to change for you? Was it when you went to Amethyst?
It was, and I actually left Amethyst and went back to an abuser. So it wasn't until actually the end of 2012, 13, he abused me so bad that I lost some of my hearing, and I caught an assault case from us getting into a physical altercation. I woke up in the hospital with a catheter. My family didn't want anything to do with me. No one wanted anything to do with me. I didn't want anything to do with me. And I can only contribute it to God and the prayers of everyone who truly loves me.
So what services did you utilize to come from that and to start your journey to recovery?
Meetings, sponsors, support, as hard as it is. And I still struggle with isolating myself. So it's going to be an enduring battle for all of us to get through this, continually battling depression and guilt and shame and anger, resenting things. It's going to be a journey.
So what do you think is the most important services for other victims or survivors in your words?
Support.
Support.
Love, understanding. We have to talk about these things. There's so many things that close friends and family don't know about each other amongst us in this room who have never even been exposed to this lifestyle. We have to communicate to address these issues because we're suffering, all of us.
Thank you so much. That's very important. Do you think that it's more dangerous for girls out there today?
Definitely.
Why do you say that?
I've personally lost countless friends.
Okay. What advice would you give to a young girl?
Be comfortable with who you are. The cool kids that I thought were cool, they're not so cool anymore. And I wanted to be a part of it so bad, and I couldn't handle it, and I almost died several times. So love yourself and be happy. Enjoy being a kid, because we're in a day today where we all have to grow up fast and deal with issues like this that typical children didn't used to have to worry about.
So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Stay away from boys.
So I want to thank all of you for opening yourself up and sharing in a room full of people. I know I appreciate it, and I'm sure that they do too. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Here we go, a microphone that's working. I do appreciate all of the stories that we heard, and I want to turn the mic over now to Mr. D'Souza, because I think he has a different story, but it's an important story for us all to hear. So we're going to go through that same list of questions then with you, Mr. D'Souza, if we can. And I think we started with, where were you born?
I was born in India, and my childhood days, what I remember is that we didn't have running water or electricity in our house, and we didn't have we didn't have a choice of food. I didn't have proper clothing, I didn't have slippers or shoes, but as a child I was happy because all my surroundings were the same, my kids, of my friends. But now when I think, oh, I was poor, but I didn't know that.
Okay. And did you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I'm the youngest, so I have an older brother and a sister.
And did you have a best friend at the time?
Yes,
Okay.
that was my older brother.
Oh, excellent. And when did you start drinking, or when did you start using drugs?
That's a $1 million question. I started drinking after I got married, but that was social drinking.
Social.
But that was just a part that just for fun or enjoyment. But I really started drinking, honestly, when I came to the United States of America, and when I was in a situation with all the victims, from people from Mexico, India, Guatemala, I don't know, from all places, and that was, I don't know, a stress reliever, or I don't know what you call it, but it was not good.
And did someone give you your first drink or your first drugs, or did you take it on your own?
I never took drugs, but drinks was, yes, the perpetrator is to encourage. So I think that was like a barter system. So you don't get paid, you just get high.
Okay. And when did things get out of control for you?
I still remember the day because my perpetrator created a debt on me, and one fine day he gets a customer in the restaurant, and he tells, if my wife goes with him tonight, it can reduce the debt. So it's very sad.
Yes. And when did you first realize you did not want to be where you were?
There were multiple situations of that type, but I can share one situation is that when my perpetrator took loan in my name, I had no clue. I never applied, and I didn't know what was going on. He just drove me to the bank, and just to tell you that he had my all details, like the social security card. I didn't know what was SSN, and it was a big amount, like $10,000. It was mucho money, and then he makes me sign the papers. I sign all the documents on the dotted line. I get a check in my name, takes me to his house. He's a millionaire. He said, it's time to celebrate. You're a rich man. Put some scotch. I just drink. Goes down before it could reach my belly. He gives me a small chit with all things scribbled. It's not like 10,000 or 20,000 or 40,000, much more. And he pats my back and say, Harold, like, you owe me this money. And that day, 4 things happened. I lost my voice, I lost my courage, I lost my hope, I lost my freedom. And most important, after that he says, oh, don't worry, that's okay, you owe me much more.
All right. And when did things change for you? Was it an arrest?
Things changed for me like drastically is when I got connected with the FBI agent. And where she could recognize and understand my situation. I always tell the law enforcement agencies are good people, and especially for foreign nationals in labor trafficking, they are been brainwashed that never go to law enforcement agencies. But I say no, it's wrong, and I had the same perception. I'll be very honest, because I always tell all the law enforcement agencies have 3 H. They are honest, they are human, and they are humble. So the FBI agent got me the CP visa. She got me the U visa, then I got my permanent residency card. Not only that, during my situation, She got food to my house. And one situation I still remember is that I was not opening out with her because I was very scared. And one day she told me, Harold, I'm here to help you. Whether you work under table, you do whatever it is, I'm not here to deport you or arrest you. So that humble human approach, because whenever she came to me, she first came as a mother. She never that was the feeling I got. So I think just going the extra step by the law enforcement agencies or people who are trying to help victims, that plays a very huge role. Thank you.
And I think you answered these questions, but I just want to verify. It sounds like what you said is that the services that help you utilize getting your life back included law enforcement, certain visas that were available to you, having the support system, and, but from your own words, what services do you think are most necessary for someone like yourself to go from being a victim to a survivor?
I think it's $1 million question, and I'll be very honest. Every individual sitting here, including on the panel, the victims, the survivors, and every community member, I'll be very honest, have touched my heart. At one time in my life, I always had the feeling, not only had the feeling, it was the behavior I had got that I was untouchable by my perpetrator. And that always had the thing. But when people hugged me, I was like, I could not hug. I didn't know, in India, we never touched a girl, because that's the culture. But people prayed for me on the streets. People hugged me on the roads, in the church. People gave me like $5, gave me $10. That is like a multi-million dollar for me, because there was a time in my life I could not buy a 25 cents candy for my son from a vending machine. So community members have played a very, very big role, because why I say that? Nobody knew my situation. They just knew that something is wrong with this guy or this family, because I used to walk on the streets in the snow. So people stopped, gave me a ride, and they were thinking something is wrong because I was not sharing. But then people stopped, and they were very compassionate. What a victim requires is love, is compassion. There's no second substitute for that. So thank you, each one of you.
Absolutely. And what advice, if you needed to, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, that's again $1 million question. He gives me advice. Both my sons, Bradley and Rohan, I'm very proud of them. They changed my life. And I think whatever situation I went, I think it's a blessing in disguise. Both my sons are doing fantastic. My older son is 22 years old. He graduated 6 months early from University of Cincinnati. He was invited for the Nobel Award ceremony at Stockholm. So he has traveled a lot. He was nominated as a global scholar, as a national scholar. He's working for Tesla Motors. He got a promotion. He was studying and working both, and now he's in Chicago. He broke the record from LA to New York. He was creating awareness on human trafficking. He did it in 51 hours, 47 minutes. He was in the news. That's my son. Thank you. And my younger son, his name is Rohan D'Souza. He's 19 years old. He's the smartest. He tells me, Dad, we are at a situation where we can accomplish anything in life. That inspires me. He has changed my thinking. I always used to get back the trauma. And he tells me, he's all A student. He's planning to graduate next December, like 1.5 years early. And he's a tennis player. He has a dream to play in the Wimbledon. So I need all your prayers and good wishes that you will see a survivor's son play in Wimbledon, and his name is Rohan D'Souza. He won the state championship, and I'm hoping that. So I'm trying to support their dreams.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank all of you.
It's been wonderful to have you today, and I want to give them another round of applause for their courage, bravery, tenacity, faith, hope, love. We love you. And while we're standing, Barbara has to say something. Come on up here, Barbara. I love Barbara. Her passion is transitional housing. Amen. transitional housing and housing for victims, because it's a long, difficult road. Lots of bumps, bruises, falling, getting up, starting all over, and doing it all over again. We need that type of support and response right away from our community. Barbara?
I just wanted to take time out just to thank everybody for coming out today. I want to thank Teresa so much for the amazing work that you do every year. We really appreciate it, getting the information out, educating the community on how to better serve survivors and how to better take stand in your community. We got to take our community back, you know, from what the enemy has tried to destroy. Also, I just want to thank all of the panelists just for coming and sharing your stories, because I know that it's not easy. But one thing that I say is that once you get rid of it, it does not own you anymore. So I just want to thank the ladies that I serve, these three ladies that are up here, and Shelby, she was on the health panel earlier. These are the ladies that the Freeman Project served, and there's many more. And I just want to thank Sarah, which I don't know where she went, but she is the backbone of the organization that donated the Freeman House. It's a 6-bedroom house for women in human trafficking that is coming out of, yes, that is coming out of, and also Miss Renee.
Miss Renee, stand up, please. I want her to adopt me, because she's the sweetest lamb on the planet. Amazing, and that's what this is, love for change. And, you know, we have so many survivors that here, and more than we ever have, and you know, we want you to go forth, multiply, go home, inspire, get people plugged in. We'll be sending further follow-ups with everything, and we have evaluation forms. We'd love for you to fill them out, because I want to improve it. We want to do more, and I just love every single one of these folks up here and the survivors and thrivers in our audience. Thank you so much for coming. No, one more thing. Bye-bye. Oh, volunteers. Volunteer sheets.
Yeah, I have volunteer sheets that will be out on the table. Sarah, raise your hand. Sarah will be standing out there in the lobby. If you would like to be a volunteer or you would like to mentor with the Freeman House, please sign up. We'll give you more information. You can get a tour of the house and just see what it is that we come to do. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless. Safe travels.